Good afternoon, folks. Mike Wells, your World Explorer, and today we're going to be making a pen for a friend. We're going to be using these wood pieces right here. You're probably thinking, oh, those look bug-eaten and disgusting. Well, that's what we want, because this project is a little different than what we're used to. Over here we have pearlescent powder. We're going to be mixing that in with our clear cast 70/50. It's 2 parts of this side and 1 part that side. So I've already measured out the ratios that we're going to need. So here we're going to need the actual kicking agent, and then here's the epoxy itself. So I'll basically fill those, then I'll mix in pearlescent powder, and then I'll have to degas the pearlescent powder mixed with the clear cast resin. Alright, I've mixed 4 grams of the pearlescent powder in with the resin itself, and then I mixed 2 grams in with the actual kick. So while I'm stirring this, I'm going to go ahead and degas this one. Alright, so here's the chamber. As you can tell, it's been used many times before, and I'm going to pull a vacuum on it. We've got both valves open. We want to close the back valve, so let's go ahead and look at it now. By the way, this gauge no longer works. I've used this thing way too many times. Now the line that leads to the pump, obviously you need that side open. So let's go ahead and turn it on and see what happens in here. So what you're witnessing is the actual material itself. The resin has air in it, so once you pull a vacuum, that air expands and it comes out of the epoxy. Alright, I've closed the chamber to the pump, the actual line, and now I'm going to slowly open the one that has the filter on it and takes the air in from the atmosphere. And you see what happens there? The bubbles calm down and they settle. Now you don't want to let all the air in too quickly, because that'll cause a big mess. That's why you see all these little spatters and things up here. That's because that's what I've done in the past and I had to learn. Alright, now I'm just going to take this off, pull this guy out. It's not kicking yet. We'll put the kicker side of the mixture in and degas it as well. Pull my lid off. Now, once we fire this off, we got to move a little bit, hastily, I would say. Well, let's put the resin in first. Alright, so here we go. Okay, so now I'll place this in the gas chamber. I'm going to let that sit for a minute. We got the wood. We've got our resin that's kicking. I'm going to make some room over here. So I've fashioned a little piece to go over top, and we're going to set this rock on top of that to weigh these little loggies down. Okay. Let me shove this rock in there. This rock's going to make all the difference for us. Now I have to pull the air out of the logs. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and put it inside the chamber. Let's see. Nope, don't go anywhere, Mr. Rock. Now this is the moment of truth. Now you see how much air is leaving? This is what I'm talking about. This could get messy right here. So there's so much air in that wood, it's all coming out right now. I don't know if you can see that very good. Yeah, we're peering down into there. It's going to cover this rock. You're going to see this stuff climb. Looking good. We're not we're not too messy, but so the resin is backfilling into the actual logs right now. Now I have to let the atmosphere back in, and I'm going to pull a vacuum one more time, because this is the part where the resin actually like seeps into the voids inside of the wood. Okay, it is definitely kicking. I may not have used enough resin to cover the product. So we'll see, but I'm still going to get plenty of blanks out of this. Yeah, this is now kicking insanely fast, so I probably shouldn't have done a third vacuum, but hey, I've never actually done third vacuums before, but I wanted to try it this time, see if it would work. And well, it pulled a bunch more air out, but now I've got all this excess sitting on top when I needed it to be down there in the well. So you live, you learn. All right, folks, here we are the next day. We got this. I'm going to cut out of here. I got to figure out where I need to cut, and then we'll go from there. All right, so we figured out where we need to place our first cut. What I actually want to do is spin it like this. We can see our woods basically there, so then we'll go down right here. We're going to do this slowly. Okay, so that's what we got. It's not the best pour. This is a very bad pour, but we're gonna figure something out. I think I'm gonna make two cuts, one here, actually one cut there, and then we'll have two halves. So let me get to that. So here's one side. We're gonna have to redo this one, so we're gonna have to do a second pour. Now this has happened to me literally almost every time I've done pours, so I'm thinking it's the epoxy. I've always had to do a second pour, but it might be this specific brand of epoxy. I'm not sure. So we got to get the epoxy to be inside of our voids, and that's not what we accomplished. So I'm going to clean this up a bit and then produce it and make it ready for the next pour. Alright, so this is what we got. Not that good. We really gotta do better. Alright, so we took and we were able to get a few blanks out of this material that we produced. Now if you look here, the blanks, we had to slide them into these plastic tubes. Then we glued some plastic onto the bottom of the tubes so it would hold the resin. You can kind of see what's going on there. Let me pull a couple others over. You can see what's inside this. Let's try to get a better view here. But it's the pearlescent powder mixed with the resin. Try to get this camera to focus. Yeah, you can see that. So there's the pen blank itself, the wood. So we cut them into little square pen blanks, which I should have some examples of. Let me show you. This is an example of a pen blank. And then we had to cut these corners off to fit them into the plastic tubes. Now, this has been totally an experiment for me. I didn't want to drag you guys through the coals, so I had to make sure that this would work before I decided to show you what's going on here. Excuse me. So here we've cut the plastic side off, and you can see right in there that the resin actually filled the voids. All right, now we have a couple of blanks that we were able to successfully create out of that batch. There are 2 left, but I did not want to cut them right away. So this is what they look like. The pour seems to have taken pretty well, with the exception of a few pockets, but we'll be able to backfill those. Then we have this one. So some of that wood looks kind of weak, but as we turn it, I also drilled the cores. We're going to have to put some tubes into these holes. Okay, now we have our cores set. Here's the other blank cores set in there as well. I have a blank mounted and I'm ready to turn it. So let's get started and see what we got on the inside. So, yeah, if you look in here, there's a lot of void in there. I don't like that. That shouldn't have happened, but here we are. Alright, that blank was giving us troubles, so we had to reconnect it. So let's just start working on the other blank. Yeah, we had to reconnect it to its core. I guess I didn't put enough glue on to begin with. So sometimes accidents happen and you have to deviate. You have to accommodate the situation. So that's what we've done. And so now we're going to try the next blank. See if we can get some better results here. The pour didn't go as well as I would have liked it to. It really didn't. So going forward, I'm going to have to be a little more careful with the pouring and not use so much volume, because I think that has an adverse effect on the epoxy due to how hot it gets from the volume of epoxy and hardener used. So let's go. Let's try this one. Okay. Alright, now so we're looking here and we see this massive catastrophe in there. Alright, now we're going to chop away at the first blank again. Like I said, this is a bad pour, but let's see if we can salvage this situation. completely encase this thing with super glue. So we're going to have to let it cure. Alright, we're on to the next. We want to go ahead and start backfilling some of these spots too, because it's very evident that they need it. We can't use this one. Alright, we just made this blank. This is one of the 4 from the earlier part of the video, so yeah, this one looks like it's probably going to work out very well. Now let's turn this thing. Look at that pen. Wow. This is a really nice one. Man, I'm jealous. I wish I was my friend. Then I could have this pen. Folks, you can't purchase this pen. You'd have to be my friend to get a pen like this, and it'd have to be under specific conditions in a specific situation. And we won't talk about that here, but my friend knows and understands. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. That helps the channel grow. And stay tuned because I got more pens for friends coming in the future. Have a great day.